Hi friends, it's Mike here, and welcome back to another episode of Simply Bougie. Finally, because it's only been a couple weeks since I uploaded a video, and that's not cute. So on today's episode, we're going to be making pizza 4 different ways. And since I live in Ohio and we've had multiple seasons in a couple days, I decided to film my intro here, yes, at the park, because last night I filmed the video and we had about an inch of snow. So, go figure, and wonder why everybody's always, with the allergies and whatnot. Anyway, so I decided to do pizza, like I said, 4 different ways, just to give you some different ideas of how you could do what you could do. But I'm taking a super easy cheater approach to it. So I bought some things to make pizza making much easier and cheaper for you than, buying it from the pizza delivery place. And hopefully there'll be some tricks that you could use for yourself, or create some of your own that are much more unique and different, which I would love to see and hear about. So if you're ready, let's get to cooking. Bye guys.
Alrighty, so if you haven't guessed it yet, yes, the secret ingredient to saving all this extra time is buying pre-made bread dough. So the grocery store that is near my house will actually sell you loaves of uncooked bread dough if you would like, and they're actually at a really reasonable price at 99 cents a loaf. So, I mean, why not? That's saving you all kinds of extra time. It actually took me from start to end of this video probably about an hour to make both sets of pizzas. And that is only because I had to do all the extra prep stuff to set the camera angles up and whatnot. So it probably would have even taken less time if it weren't for that. But what I usually do to start is now, depending on what you're planning on doing, you could just take one loaf and spread it out to make one pizza. If you're having a big party and you need to buy a bunch, however you want to do. I like to make the smaller ones because it gives that a little bit more of a rustic look, and you don't have to worry so much about the form of it. So anyway, I got 2 loaves because I wanted to make a couple varieties to show you just a few different options of what you can do. So the first thing here, like I said, is I took the loaves and I cut them in half, and I'm just kind of stretching them out on the pan a little bit. And yes, that is a little bit of olive oil that I put down first to kind of help keep your hands from sticking, but also to give it that little extra that it needs. Um, and I'm going to take those, like I said, stretch them out and then leave them setting for probably about 10 minutes or so. You could do it longer if you need, especially if you want to do this in advance to have it prepped for if you're having a few friends over later on in the evening or whatever. But I, like I said, just gave it about a good 10 minutes setting time once I got them put onto the pan. Now, I don't know why, but if you look at that one on the left, it does not want to stretch the same way the other ones do. And you'll see with the other ones, they actually stretch the same. So I don't know, call it weird, but whatever. Again, it's that whole rustic look to it. So, it is what it is. And that's all I have to say about that because, you don't need it to be perfect and fancy. And if you were more concerned about it having that pretty nice look, then just fill the whole pan. Like I said, that's your choice. So again, just took some oil on the pans, spread it around the dough, and used it to help stretch them out a little bit. And then, like I said, once I'm done with that, I let them sit for probably about 10 minutes to just get everything nice and relaxed on there. Because again, keep in mind this is bread dough, so you don't want to overwork it. You want it just to have that nice little stretch to it, but again, it's going to kind of react a little bit too because of that. So anyway, the first one I'm doing here is going to be a no sauce pizza. So again, just a little bit of extra olive oil on there because you want to have a nice coat for everything to stick to. You probably can't see the ingredients. I have 2L especially because, yep, as you see it, I sprinkle from afar, but obviously it was out of camera shot. So I just put a little bit of garlic powder and then some black pepper on there first. And then once I do that, I'm going to take the uh, pepper rings that I purchased for that to put them on. So I kind of, just for sake of looking nicer, like I said, I took them out of the jar first because I don't think you want to see me sitting there with a fork digging each one out by hand. But what I did was I took the peppers, put them in the little container, and I put a little bit extra of the juice with it too, because as you'll see in a little while, I'm going to sprinkle the extra of the juice on top just so that way it gets that extra pepper flavor going throughout. Now, you're saving all this extra time, mind you, with the pre-made dough. So I'm making it a point to take my time and putting everything on there real nice and neat because you want to make sure you have enough per bite and that the pizza itself has that little bit of an extra flair to it that you're taking the time to do it nice. So that's the first start of that pizza. And then the other one, obviously, I'm going to use, well, the rest of them I'm going to use a sauce base, I should say. Now, what I did was I did also buy a jar of pre-made pizza sauce, but what I like to do whenever I do purchase pizza sauce is put it on the stovetop for a little bit and heat it through and cook it up a little bit because sometimes now I make homemade pizza sauce normally, so this is kind of against my religion, but I do feel like when you buy pre-made pizza sauce that it has a little bit of a tang to it. So when you cook it on the stove for a little while, it actually kind of helps eliminate some of that, I think. So on this pizza, I'm doing sausage with peppers and onions. Now, the reason I'm using this is because I'm using leftovers, because why not repurpose what you ate for dinner a couple nights ago, put it to a different use, and save that extra money, especially if you're having people over. You could always cook up extra like this to start for the pizzas, and then after that night, you could have that regular sausage and peppers for a different meal. But this one is going to be, like I said, reusing some leftovers in a different way. Now, whenever I use sausage, I like to keep it in the whole and then slice it, because if you're doing different versions, especially again for a party or whatever, and you have the sausage crumbled, but then say you wanted to do like meat crumbles as well, then you could get that confused. So at least if you keep it looking different, it'll have that different flair to it again that will let people realize what they're actually eating. So, because I know a lot of people are not fans of sausage, and you don't want them to have that by mistake. So anyway, I got all the sausage and peppers and onions on there, and now I'm going to cheese both of them so that way they could be ready for the oven. And that's all it took to make both of those. So, like I said, quick, simple, fast. And you can make the dough from scratch. It's really not that hard. Maybe in a future episode, I will do that to show you guys how easy it is. But really, like I said, this was such a fast and efficient thing to do. And to be honest with you, I don't think it really tastes any different than making homemade anyway. So why not take that shortcut, save yourself that time? Because, if you're going to live your bougiest life, I think you need to have all that extra time you can to be fabulous and fierce. So anyway, like I said, I sprinkle the cheese on both of those, and then those are going to go into the oven. And then, since those are going into the oven, I'm going to start on the next ones, which you'll see the choppy editing here in a second, where it goes from these two to having the other two right on the pan. Oh, and yeah, like I said earlier, I'm sprinkling the extra of that pepper juice on there just to give it that little extra taste. So again, not a lot, just enough to sprinkle it through. And like I said, there was that choppy editing, but so anyway, the rest of the sauce from that jar is going on. I bought a small jar, which actually cost me like $2. So it was enough for the three pizzas that had sauce on it. So again, another cost saver right there, because sometimes making things from scratch, even though it seems like you're going to be saving money, sometimes it's actually more expensive, and this being one of those cases, because buying the tomatoes and all that stuff, it could become a lot more expensive in the end. But anyway, so I bought a small jar. It ended up being, like I said, enough for the other two pizzas here, plus the one I made first. And I ended up having, I think, like a tablespoon left, so we can't complain about that, because really, where's the issue there? So with the other two pizzas, I'm going to do One is going to be just a regular pepperoni pizza, and then the other one's going to be a meat lovers. Um, I know a lot of people are picky when it comes to pizza, so again, keeping a simple one is always a good option. So with the plain pepperoni one, as you can see, I'm going to sprinkle some cheese down first, just because I kind of like for the pepperoni to be able to pop through a little bit extra, so that way you don't have to worry about putting as much on the top. So again, as you see, I'm taking my time with this, and I'm going to try to make sure that each and every piece has a good piece of pepperoni on it and that it's covered nicely. And again, if you have people that like more, add more. If you want less, add less. But at least doing this is making sure that every bite is going to be filled nicely and for everybody's satisfaction. So then the other one, I'm just getting the start on, obviously. Like I said, it's going to have multiple things on it. But again, we're starting with the pepperoni here. And I have to say, I was pretty impressed with my pulling skills because, as you'll notice, I'm using every single thing in each of my containers that I pre pulled. So I was pretty impressed by that because normally I have to keep grabbing more and more and more. So on the other one, that's the meat lovers, I'm actually also adding black olives because I'm a big fan of those. So I know, again, to each his own, but I could eat black olives all day, every day. So putting it on pizza is just adding that extra little flair for myself and gilding that lily for me. So did that. And then my last ingredient on this pizza is going to be crumbled bacon. Now, again, taking a cheater approach, I purchased the bacon that is already pre-cooked, and all I did was I just took it with my fingers and I ripped them up into little shreds. So that way it's having the little bites throughout. And again, you want to make sure you get it on there nice and neat and spread it across the whole pizza so that every bite has a little bit of. So we're going to get that taken care of, and then we'll just finish it off with the rest of the cheese on both of them. Now, with the meat one, I actually will show you in a second here. I wanted to make it a point. Oh, before I forget to, yes, I also added grated Parmesan to. So I apologize. The narration got a little choppy there for a second. Yes, somebody decided to talk to me right in the middle of filming this, so that was very, helpful. Anyway, I was saying I added some Parmesan cheese first before putting the rest of the shredded provolone and mozzarella cheese on top, which again is just a bagged mix. And I, again, as a money saver, I usually buy the pizza cheese in bulk. And what I do once I get it is I divvy it up into smaller portions and freeze those accordingly so that way you don't have to worry about them going to waste or going bad. And again, it saves you more money doing so. So, anyway, back to this, I put the rest of the cheese on, and now I want to do another little bit of gilding the lily with the meat pizza. So, with my finger, I just took some extra olive oil, as you could see, and I'm going to work it all around the crust because I'm going to need a little bit of a platform here because what I'm going to do is add that little extra flair to it. And all I did was I just got some Italian seasoning mix, the herbs, and I'm going to sprinkle that all around the edges of it, but I'm also going to mix it in with the cheese as well. Oh, and provolone again as well, or yeah, the grated cheese. That's what I'm trying to say. I can't think of the words right now. Getting interrupted is not fun. Anyway, the grated Parmesan cheese is going on, and then I'm going to sprinkle the Italian herbs. And again, when doing so, I want to go neat with it at first because I want the crust to have that nice look to it. But then I am going to sprinkle it around the whole pizza as well. So, we're going to do that, and then it's going to go into the oven as well. Now, this took probably an extra 5 or so minutes from when I put the original pizzas in. So we're going to just have a few minutes in between because I stuck it in right after the fact. And let me tell you, I couldn't help it. It smelled amazing. So the first pizza obviously is that pizza without cheese with the peppers on it. And then the next one here is the one using the leftover dinner of sausage, peppers, and onions. And yeah, as you could see, a little bit of the sauce ran over on it and stained up the pan, but it didn't affect the look of the pizza once I took it out. It just had a little bit of that crust on the edge that was missing. And then again, a few minutes later, here comes the other two. This is the plain pepperoni pizza and then the fancy bistro style pizza, if you want to call it. So again, look how nice and pretty that looks. And it makes you feel like a rock star if you're having a little get together, like I said, in less than an hour's time, with most of that being cooking. You could have all that happening. Now, for cooking it, before I even started with the bread dough and whatnot, I actually took the oven and preheated it to 375, and each pan I ended up cooking somewhere between 35 to 40 minutes total. Now if you have the pizza stones, it'll take a little less and whatnot, but not trying to add anything fancy here, because I want everybody to be able to make this and be able to have that good quality pizzeria style pizza. So I hope you guys make something like this and share with me, and I really hope you enjoy, because let me tell you, I did. It was delicious.
So what'd you think about it? Cheap, easy, quick, and a nice way to actually have fresh homemade pizza that you could sit and eat all by yourself with your family. And especially if you're having friends coming over, I mean, what a good way to put that little extra flair to everything and gild the lily to make your friends just think that you're the most amazing cook in the world. And little do they know, most of that stuff was a complete hack, a complete cheat. And it was delicious. I'm sorry I didn't film me eating it. I'm sure you don't really care to see me eating anyway, because but it was good. Let me just say that. I sat on the couch with my big blanket wrapped around me and watched Real Housewives of Potomac and ate a bunch of pizza. But like I said, you want to entertain. That's a good way that you can do multiple different varieties of pizzas for people, because some people are picky and like plain. Some people want all the extra stuff that I don't want to eat personally. So I mean, if you could give multiple options and keep everybody happy, why not? I mean, can't hurt anything. So I hope you enjoyed, and like I said, if you can come up with some ideas of your own that are a little bit more unique and different and interesting, please share. I'd love to hear it. And like I said, winter season's coming, so there's gonna be a lot of barricading in the house, wanting some comfort food, so maybe I can make some of your varieties too to share with everybody. And with that in mind, have a great day, guys. Mwah. See you soon, and hopefully not in like a month again. Mwah. Bye. So I think this nice weather is getting to my brain a little bit, because I keep forgetting some things. So before I forget, if you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe, because I need all the bougie friends on my subscribe list. And if you want to be part of that little VIP, letting everybody know that you're simply bougie too, make sure that you share the video with your friends, pass it along, let everybody know, because obviously the more subscribers and viewers I get, the more likely I can make videos for you, and they'll probably hopefully get better as we go, because again, I'm new to this, so bear with me. But like, subscribe, hit all the buttons and bells and whistles and all that good stuff, and please tell your friends to do the same for me. Ooh, I just felt like I had an earthquake there. Anyway, bye again.